My child, listen carefully, because this is not a common word. I myself, your God, bend down now to speak with you. I break the silence of your routine and interrupt the flow of your thoughts to bring you to the awareness that this is the moment when heaven moves in your favor. Do not let anything distract you now, because each sentence that comes from my mouth carries life, power, and direction. I am not distant, I am not absent, I am the God who reveals himself at the very instant when you most need me. Today I speak directly to your heart to awaken you from lethargy, from fear and doubt, and to lead you into the spiritual urgency that can no longer be postponed. I tell you, the time of waiting was not in vain. The tears you shed were not lost. The cries you made in secret were not ignored. Every sigh, every sleepless night, every word that seemed to dissolve into the air reached me like incense before my throne. I recorded every detail of your pain and placed it in my books as a precious prayer. Nothing was wasted. Every battle you faced, every weight you carried, every silence you endured served to prepare the moment that now stands before you. I do not send signs without purpose. I do not lift my voice to speak in vain. When I say that this is the time, it is because the heavens have already opened over you. I have already released orders to my angels, and I have already determined your victory. Even if you do not see it with your natural eyes, in the spiritual realm, the gates have already been moved, the decrees have already been signed, and the blessing already has your name written upon it. That is why I speak to you now, because I do not want you to lose what is before you. My child, you are accustomed to living on the edge, to dealing with scarcity and surviving in the midst of struggle. But I say that I did not create you for that. I formed you for abundance, for peace, and for prosperity. I am not speaking only of material riches, although they will also come into your hands, but of a complete state of life where nothing is lacking for you. Peace in your mind, healing in your heart, stability in your steps, favor before people, and victory against every accusation of the enemy. I have opened the heavenly vaults, and I have ordered that a portion be released over you that will change the course of your story. Understand the urgency of this moment. When the enemy perceives that your harvest is near, he intensifies the attacks to try to steal your attention and paralyze your faith. But I will not allow darkness to prevail against you. I have already sent Michael, my warrior angel, with the sword drawn to guard your way. I have already released legions of angels to open the doors that were closed, to tear down the barriers that hindered your advance, to break the chains that imprisoned your soul. You are not the one who fights alone. I myself fight at your side. I saw when you thought you were forgotten, when you asked yourself if I still remembered you. I saw when your heart filled with weariness and your mouth almost fell silent. But I tell you, I was never absent. Even when silence seemed to reign, I was shaping you, teaching you to trust not in what you see, but in what I promised. Today I call you to lift your eyes and see that I have already prepared a new time for you. What once seemed distant is already at the door, and nothing will be able to prevent you from entering. What I speak now is not only a distant promise, it is a present decree. I myself open the door before you. I myself removed the stones from the way. I myself unlocked the locks that kept you bound. And I tell you, enter, because this is your hour. The inheritance that I wrote in heaven, the purpose that I traced for your life, the refuge that I prepared for your soul, all of this is already ready. Do not doubt, do not fear, only believe. For just as the sun does not fail to rise each morning, so my promise will not fail to be fulfilled in your life. This is the moment when I transform tears into smiles, shame into honor, scarcity into abundance. This is the moment when I trade the weight for peace, doubt for faith, fear for courage. This is the moment when I write a new chapter of your story, not with human ink, but with my own spirit. Do not say that it is still too early or too late, because I am the Lord of time, and the perfect time is now. My child, listen to me. I do not speak to stir emotion, I speak to transform. I do not merely declare words, I decree realities. What today sounds like prophecy, tomorrow will be testimony in your mouth. What today appears impossible to you, tomorrow will be irrefutable evidence of my power. I do not waste pain, I do not ignore processes, I do not abandon unfinished works. What I began in you, I am faithful to complete, and I will complete it in victory. Therefore, keep this word in your heart. Do not despise it. Do not let it slip away. Stand firm in faith, because it is the key that opens the treasures I have already destined for you. Today I tell you, the heavens are in motion, the earth will respond, and your life will never be the same. I am your God, and I speak with you now to awaken you and to lead you into the abundance that I have already released in your favor. My son, the weight you have carried in recent days was not a coincidence. The battles that rose against you did not come only from natural situations, but are a reflection of an invisible war happening around you. Every pressure, every unexpected attack, every feeling of suffocation and confusion, all of it was proof that heaven was moving on your behalf. The enemy does not waste strength against those who have no destiny, but he rises with fury against those who have been marked by my promise. And I tell you, you were marked from the womb, set apart to walk in victory, and that is why you have perceived such intense resistance. Do not think that you are alone in the midst of this fight. The adversary wanted to make you believe that there was no one for you, but I myself have risen as your defender. Darkness tried to cover your mind, to bring thoughts of giving up, to plant doubt and fear, but I now break those lies. Nothing that happened to you was forgotten before me, and every attack launched against your life has already been weighed in my balance. The forces of darkness knew your harvest was near, and that is why they intensified the blows, trying to steal your hope. But I am the one who turns every battle into a stage for victory. I send Michael, my warrior angel, and with him I send legions that surround your life in this very moment. With sword unsheathed, he positions himself in your favor. He places himself between you and the forces that tried to close your path. He guards the door of the promise so that no arrow of envy, no word of curse, no decree of defeat can find a place in you. Even if you cannot see with your natural eyes, the spiritual field is full of movement. Where it seemed there was only darkness, now there is clarity. Where it seemed silent, now there are voices of victory. Where it seemed defeat, now there are trumpets announcing harvest. The pains you felt in your body, the oppressions that rose upon your mind, the circumstances that seemed to crush your hope were not signs of abandonment, but signs that you are the target of a spiritual dispute. I allowed you to feel the weight so that you would understand that your victory does not come from you, but from my outstretched arm. Every attempt of the enemy to extinguish your faith served to awaken even more your need to depend on me. And I tell you, nothing that rose against you will prosper, for my word is the shield that covers your life. My son, understand, when the blessing is about to be released, darkness stirs to try to stop the fulfillment. Just as the night is darkest before the sunrise, the enemy also rages more when he realizes the dawn of your victory is near. But I am the Lord who has never lost a battle. I am the one who crushes the serpent, who breaks the bows of war, who undoes the hidden strategies of the adversary. There is no power that can resist the order that has already gone out of my mouth. The enemy wanted to steal your strength with weariness, wanted to silence your prayer with accusations, wanted to close your ears with voices of deceit. But I myself breathe life into you now. I remove the veil of confusion. I silence the mouth of the accuser. I strengthen your arms and I steady your feet. You do not walk alone. You do not fight alone. You do not cry alone. I am your commander, and before me armies move. There are already records in heaven of victories decreed in your name. Every day you resisted the pressure, every time you chose to believe in the silence, every step you took even while feeling the weight, all of this was counted as an act of faith. And faith, my son, is the key that moves heaven. The enemy has no power to interrupt what I have already decreed. He only tries to delay what he cannot stop. But I hasten the times for your sake. I shorten the process because I saw your perseverance. Weapons were raised, but none of them will prosper. Walls rose up, but I myself bring them down before you. Chains were cast, but I break them with a single word. There is no barrier that can resist my fire. There is no prison that can withstand my light. I undo ancient pacts. I destroy curses spoken against your house, and I cut ties that tried to bind your destiny. Everything that was shadow is now being replaced by the clarity of my presence. I tell you, do not fear. The war is real, but greater is my victory. The enemy is cunning, but I am the Lord of wisdom. He tries to deceive, but I have already revealed the truth. He tries to paralyze, but I have already put movement upon your feet. He tries to silence, but I have already released a new voice upon your lips. Today, I lift you up, and I not only protect you, but I also clothe you with authority. Wherever you will walk as light. Wherever you step, you will step as air. Wherever you will speak with my anointing. Beloved son, keep this in your heart. This war is not for your destruction, but for your consecration. It is proof that you are destined to carry an inheritance the enemy can never steal. I am your shield. I am your wall of fire. I am your strong tower. I am the voice that breaks the silence and the hand that opens the way. And I declare, every weapon against you is nullified, every snare is undone, and every scheme is dismantled. Today I clothe you with victory, and the enemy will see that you do not walk alone, but you walk under my eternal covering. My son, I saw your nights in silence. I saw when your mind was heavy, and your heart could not express in words what you felt. I heard even your sighs, those you thought no one would notice. I am the God who knows thoughts before they reach your lips, and no detail of your journey escaped me. Even silence spoke to me, and I welcomed every tear as prayer.
Nothing in you went unnoticed. Every pain, every weight, every sense of abandonment I turned into intercession before my throne. I do not despise your tears. They were seeds sown in the heavens, and now those seeds will sprout into miracles that your eyes will behold. I know the days when you lay down with an afflicted heart and woke up even more tired than before. I know the hours when the pillow was your confidant, when your eyes filled with tears you could not hold back.
I saw when you preferred silence because you had no strength to explain the pain you felt. But I tell you, no tear was in vain. Every drop that fell upon your bed, I turned into testimony. Every hidden cry was counted as powerful intercession. What the world did not hear, I heard. What no one valued, I valued. I know the moments when you looked around and found no one who could understand you. I saw when the words of men were not enough to comfort you.
I was there even when you did not perceive me. I stretched my hand over your life. I kept your heart from breaking completely. I sustained your mind when it seemed it would succumb to the pressure. I was with you in every silence, in every long night, in every heavy breath. And today I tell you, I honor your perseverance. You thought your pain was invisible, that your inner struggles were irrelevant, but I say that all this was recorded before me. Even your silence has a voice in heaven.
When your heart groaned, I heard it as music. When your eyes filled with tears, I saw them as incense rising to my throne. When your body trembled with fear, I covered you with my mantle. When loneliness tried to crush you, I placed angels by your side so that you would not collapse. Beloved child, I did not allow your pain to be wasted. Every suffering you lived, every scar you carried, every loss you endured, I transform into part of the work I am building in you. I am the God who redeems stories, who writes victory with ink of tears, who transforms weeping into singing. What seemed like the end is only the beginning. What seemed like failure is a step toward greater glory. Do not think you were forgotten. I was with you in every detail. I saw when your body grew weary and your mind said it could take no more. I saw when the weight seemed to crush you, when the desire to give up seemed stronger than the will to go on. But I sustained you with my invisible hand. I was the strength you did not know where it came from. I was the breath that renewed your lungs when you thought it was the last. I was the voice you did not hear with your ears, but that echoed inside your soul, saying, "Do not give up, because I am with you." I made myself present in the small things. I was in the unexpected hug, in the word of encouragement you received without expecting, in the care that seemed to come from someone ordinary, but that was sent by me. I used simple gestures to remind you that I never left. I manifested myself in details because I knew you needed to feel I was with you even when you did not see me clearly. My child, do not underestimate your pain. I used it as a tool to shape your faith, to strengthen your heart, to refine your vision. I do not waste processes. What seemed empty will now be full of meaning. What seemed only suffering will become testimony. Your tears watered the field of your own victory. Your sleepless nights prepared the days of abundance that will come. What seemed lonely will now be shared with many, because your story will serve as hope to others who also walk in silence. I know every detail you never told anyone. I know the secrets you kept for fear of not being understood. I know of the mistakes you thought erased my plan, but I say, no mistake is greater than my love. I am able to transform even your failures into part of the purpose I designed. Nothing surprised me, nothing escaped me, nothing kept me away from you. Today, I declare over you, your pain is not a sentence, it is a seed. It was watered with your faith, and now it will bloom into miracles. What you cried for in secret will be celebrated in public. What seemed like defeat will turn into undeniable victory. I not only wipe away your tears, I transform them into a fountain of honor. I not only restore your hope, I multiply it in strength. Beloved child, I am the God who validates your suffering, not because I delight in your pain, but because I turn it into a path to your glory. Nothing was in vain, nothing was wasted, nothing was lost. I tell you, your tears did not fall on the earth, they fell on my altar. And in the right time, I make the fruit of what you watered with your perseverance sprout. What once was silence will now be testimony, and what once was pain will now be victory that will mark your life forever. My child, I did not call you just to survive, nor to live off crumbs that fall by the wayside. I called you to inherit what has already been written in heaven about you. Your life is not the result of chance. It is the fruit of an eternal design that I traced even before you came into the world. I prepared for you an inheritance that cannot be corrupted. a portion that cannot be stolen, a promise that cannot be erased. I do not raise you up just to pass through this earth. I raise you up to dwell in a house that carries refuge, purpose, and destiny. I prepare a house for you, but I'm not only speaking of walls and a roof. I'm speaking of stability, of rest, and of peace. I speak of a place where your soul finds relief, where your mind finds direction, where your heart finds healing. This house represents what I wrote about you, because it is the symbol of the inheritance that belongs to you. It is not a human construction, it is a spiritual refuge, a renewed identity, a space where you recognize that you are not lost but kept in my hands. Within this house you will find stability. Where once there was insecurity, I place firmness. Where once there was confusion, I place clarity. Where once there was fear, I place confidence. You will no longer be like someone who wanders without direction, but you will walk with steps guided by my word. I establish your heart on eternal foundations. I set your feet on solid ground. I breathe peace that surpasses understanding, so that you may know that you are not sustained by circumstances, but by my constant presence. This house is also inheritance, because what I prepared for you was written before the foundation of the world. The enemy tried to steal it, tried to lock it, tried to delay it, but the inheritance was not annulled. It is kept in me, waiting for the right time to manifest. This inheritance includes prosperity, abundance, and rest. It includes victory over battles, restoration of what was lost, and multiplication of what was stolen. This inheritance is yours, and no one will be able to invalidate what I myself have decreed. This house is also purpose, because I did not call you just to receive blessings, but to be a living testimony of my power. What I prepare for you will not be limited to you alone, but will be a channel to reach many. I give you resources not only to supply your needs, but so that you may be an answer in the lives of others. I place light in you so that you shine in the midst of darkness. I place boldness in your mouth so that you speak where others remain silent. I place generosity in your hands so that you heal wounds with acts of love. Beloved child, this house that I prepare is guarded. Michael, my warrior, stands before the door with his sword drawn. He positions himself so that no shadow steals what I have already destined for you. He guards the way that leads you there, and no contrary force will be able to prevent you from entering. The enemy tried to put up blockages, tried to raise walls, tried to create hindrances, but I myself open the door and send my angel to watch over your advance. There is no chain that can withstand the power of Michael's sword. There is no lock that can resist the breath of my spirit. By faith, you will enter this new time, not with fear, not with insecurity, but with firm steps. Each act of trust in me is a key that unlocks the next level of purpose. Each word of hope that comes from your lips opens windows of opportunity. By faith, you will see the invisible, you will touch the untouchable, you will possess what seemed unreachable. I did not give you faith just to endure, I gave you faith to conquer. This new time is not only a distant promise, it is a reality that is already beginning to manifest. What was once locked is beginning to open. What was once lost is beginning to be found. What once seemed unattainable is now being placed before you. Every step you take on this path will be aligned with my eternal purpose. You will no longer walk in circles, but in a certain direction. You will no longer live at the mercy of circumstances, but under the government of my will. And I say to you, do not fear. I am the architect of this house, the guardian of this inheritance, the author of this purpose. I do not change my mind. I do not revoke decrees. I do not break covenants. What I planned remains standing. You will live to experience the fullness of what I have prepared. You will see the difference between the days of struggle and the days of rest. You will testify that every tear was worth it, because every pain will be compensated by the joy that will come. My child, receive this word as a seal upon your heart. You were not called to survive, you were called to inherit. You were not raised up to walk lost. You were chosen to dwell in a secure refuge. You were not forgotten, you were set apart to live eternal purpose. The house is ready, the inheritance is guaranteed, the purpose is established. Walk by faith, because every step brings you closer to what is already yours by right. I am the Lord who calls you, and today I declare that the time of inheritance has arrived. My child, at this moment, invisible chains are falling. What imprisoned you without your eyes being able to see is being shattered by the power of my word. The accusations that were raised against you, those voices that echoed in your mind saying you were not worthy, that you could not succeed, that you would not go further, are being nullified by the decree of my throne. I am the righteous judge, and today I burn in holy fire every record of failure that tried to be written against your life. I myself erase every contrary sentence. I myself silence every accuser. I myself undo every word of curse that rose against you. The oppression that tried to paralyze you is being expelled. The weight you carried on your chest begins to dissolve like ice before fire. I breathe over you a wind of freedom, and this breath passes through the deepest part of your being. You will feel that something is being removed, because it is not just comfort, it is real deliverance. It is not just temporary relief, it is permanent transformation. What once chained you in thoughts of fear and defeat will no longer have dominion over you. My word is like a hammer that shatters rocks, and it shatters the chains that tried to bind you. My word is like fire that consumes chaff, and it now burns every prison, every tie, every snare of the enemy. Where there was darkness, the light of my presence enters with power, and everything that was hidden is revealed. I not only show, I also destroy. I not only reveal, I also undo. Beloved child, I saw the bonds that tried to limit your mind, making you believe you would never leave the place where you were. I saw the repetitive cycles that drained your hope, like chains pulling you back every time you tried to advance. I saw when your strength was exhausted, trying to break through on your own. But I tell you, it will not be by your strength, it will be by mine. It will not be by your effort, but by my power. I am the one who breaks the bow, who shatters the spear, who sets the chariots of war on fire. I am the one who opens doors no one can shut, and shuts doors no one can open. At this moment, my child, I remove from you the old weights, the painful memories, the guilt you carried in silence. I enter the most hidden places of your heart and set you free from memories that still bound you to the past. I deliver you from internal voices that said you were not capable, that you were not loved, that you had no value. I tear from you the spirit of condemnation and place upon you the spirit of adoption. You are not a slave to fear, you are heir to the promise. The chains of shame are being broken. The enemy tried to mark you with labels, tried to imprison you in past mistakes, tried to define your identity by your failures. But I say that your identity is not written by mistakes. It is written by the blood of my Son. I call you by the name I wrote in heaven. I recognize you as my beloved child. I clothe you with new honor. Shame will no longer accompany you, because I myself lift your head and place upon you a crown of dignity. The chains of lack are also being broken. The mindset of scarcity, the constant fear of tomorrow, the anxiety for what is to come are being removed. I break the shackles that kept you bound to a life of limitations. I open before you paths of provision, and I declare that you will no longer live under the weight of insufficiency. I am your shepherd, and you will lack nothing. I am your provider, and I myself will supply all your needs in glory. Child, the emotional chains that suffocated you are also falling. The resentment, the bitterness, the guarded wounds that prevented you from fully trusting are being healed now. I place balm over the open wounds. I cleanse the scars that still hurt. I restore the lightness of your soul. Where there was hardness, I place sensitivity. Where there was distrust, I place confidence. Where there was fear to love, I place courage to start again. The spiritual chains, those you could not explain but that made you feel trapped, are also being shattered. Old pacts, spoken words, works done against you in the hidden, all this I undo with my light. No work of darkness prevails against my presence. No arrow shot against you will have power. No hidden plot will withstand the fire of my spirit. I pass with fire over your life, burning everything that did not come from me, and I purify your path so you may walk free and in victory. I declare, this is the time of your deliverance, not just in part, but completely. Not just on the outside, but on the inside, not just in appearance, but in essence. What once was prison now becomes testimony. What once was accusation now becomes proclamation of victory. What once was weight now becomes wings. You will no longer walk with chains on your feet, but you will run in freedom, because I have broken the shackles. My child, keep this truth in your heart. You are free because I have set you free. You are released because I have broken the chains. You are worthy because I have annulled the accusations. You are victorious because I have destroyed the decrees of failure. Walk in freedom because the prison no longer exists. Lift your head because guilt no longer has a voice. Advance because the enemy no longer has dominion over you. I am your deliverer, and today I declare that nothing will ever be able to bind you again. My child, after the cleansing, I pour provision over your life. What once seemed insufficient will now become more than enough. Where there was scarcity, I prepare abundance. Where there was confusion, I place purpose. Where there was emptiness, I fill with fullness. The table that was empty before you now fills with bread and wine, and the heart that was dry becomes a living altar, overflowing with my presence. The peace the world cannot give, I myself place within you. I am the God who opens rivers in the desert and who brings forth springs in dry lands. I am the one who multiplied the widow's oil and who made manna fall from heaven for my people in the wilderness. I have not changed, and just as I provided in the past, today I also provide for you. You will not see only what is necessary, but you will experience my outpouring that overflows, because I am the God who does exceedingly more than you can ask or imagine. I remove from you the mentality of survival and place in you the mentality of inheritance. You will no longer walk with fear of lack. You will no longer be moved by insecurity, but you will walk in the confidence that I am your shepherd and that you shall not want. I am your provider. I am the one who supplies all your needs according to my riches in glory. You will not depend on circumstances because I am your inexhaustible source. Beloved child, I not only place food on your table, I place dignity in your heart. What was once shame, I transform into honor. What was once humiliation, I transform into testimony. You will see people who once doubted you witness with their own eyes what I have prepared. You will eat of the fruit of abundance, and your table will be a living testimony of my care. I also pour direction over your life. Where there was once doubt, I place clarity. Where there was once indecision, I place certainty. Where there were once locked doors, I myself open ways. I am the voice that says, "This is the way. Walk in it." I am the light that guides your steps in the midst of darkness. I am the lamp to your feet and the light to your path. You will no longer walk lost, you will no longer wander aimlessly, because I myself guide your journey. I place upon you peace that surpasses all understanding. It is not peace that depends on the absence of problems, but peace that remains even in the midst of the storm. It is peace that guards your mind and your heart, peace that calms your thoughts and silences the voices of fear. This peace does not come from men, does not come from riches, does not come from circumstances. This peace comes from me, and I myself place it within you as an eternal seal. My child, I transform your heart into a living altar. The emptiness that once seemed endless now becomes space filled with my presence. Where there was loneliness, I place communion with me. Where there was anguish, I place a song of victory. Where there was frustration, I place renewed hope. I make your inner being a place of encounter with me, and there I pour fresh anointing, I pour joy, I pour the fullness of my spirit. I also restore your vision of the future. Before, you looked and saw only limitations. Now, you will see possibilities. Before, you thought there was no way out. Now, you will see open doors. Before you believed time had passed, now you will realize that my timing is perfect and that every detail was under my control. I am not late, I am not early. I arrive at the exact time, and the exact time is now. I also prepare restored relationships. Where there were divisions, I bring reconciliation. Where there were harsh words, I place words of forgiveness. Where there was distance, I bring closeness. Just as I prepare a table before your enemies, I also prepare banquets of peace among those who were once at war with you. I place love where there was hatred. I place understanding where there was discord. Child, I not only care for your material need, but also for your soul and your spirit. I know the wounds you carried in silence, and so I pour healing upon your mind and upon your heart. I restore your laughter. I restore your confidence. I restore your dreams. What seemed lost, I make be reborn. What seemed dead, I resurrect. What seemed forgotten, I bring back with new life. I place upon you favor before men. Doors that once remained shut will now open before your presence. What was once inaccessible will now be placed in your hands. I move hearts, I alter decrees, I change scenarios to show that I am God in your life. Where it seemed impossible, I manifest so that you will know that nothing is too hard for me. Receive, beloved child, my outpouring. Receive abundance, receive peace, receive direction, receive healing. I will not leave you in the same place. I will not leave you with the same limitations. I open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing until there is no more room to store it. And together with this provision, I place within you the peace that seals your soul, the peace that confirms it is my hand that is at work. Today I declare you will live a time of a full table, of a full heart, and of firm steps. What was empty now overflows. What was dry now blossoms. What was confused now has purpose. You will experience provision and peace that cannot be explained by human logic, because they come directly from me. I am your God, and I pour upon you what no one else could give you. My child, understand. The greatest attacks arise when victory is already at the door. The weight you feel now is not a sign of defeat, but a sign of nearness. It is like the intense pain that precedes birth, when the body can no longer endure. and the cry for new life becomes inevitable. It is like the last net cast after an entire night without results, and it is precisely that net that is filled with fish. I tell you, it is not time to give up. It is time to remain. It is time to trust. It is time to hold firm until the end, because the harvest is not far. It is before you. I know your arms feel tired, and your mind struggles against thoughts of giving up. I know the voices that try to silence your faith grow louder precisely now. But I declare that you are stronger than you think, because I myself am your strength. When you can no longer walk, I carry you. When your eyes fill with tears, I myself gather them. When your faith seems small, I breathe upon it and renew it. Nothing will be able to erase what I planted within you. The enemy intensifies the attacks because he knows he can no longer prevent the fulfillment of what I have determined, so he tries to tire you, tries to distract you, tries to steal your perseverance. He knows that if you just resist a little longer, the promise will manifest, and so he creates illusions of failure. But I tell you, do not believe those lies. Look to me, for I am faithful. If I promised, I will fulfill. If I spoke, I will carry it out. Beloved child, perseverance is not only to endure, it is to remain confident even when everything seems contrary. It is to keep your eyes fixed on me when the waves try to drown you. It is not letting go of my hand when the winds blow strong. It is to believe that the night does not last forever, because the dawn is already prepared. I tell you, hold on firmly, because the last hour of the night is always the darkest, but soon after the light is born. What I have prepared for you is not small, it is abundant. The multiplication that is before you will be so great that your eyes will fill with tears of joy. What seemed limited will become overflowing. The field that seemed barren will yield abundant fruit. The net that seemed empty will break from being so full. And you will understand that every step of perseverance was worth it, because it brought you to the place where the promise is fulfilled. I do not ignore your pain, I do not ignore your weariness, but I strengthen you now. I breathe new life upon you. I renew your strength like that of the eagle. I place firmness in your feet like that of the deer. I fill your heart with courage like that of the lion. I make your mind fill with peace, so that you do not succumb to the pressure. I lift you from the dust and declare that you are more than a conqueror. My child, persevering at the last minute is proof of faith that attracts the impossible. It is like Abraham, who hoped against hope. It is like Joseph, who endured prison before being exalted. It is like David, who faced giants before sitting on the throne. It is like my people who crossed the sea when there was no way out. All persevered until the end and saw my hand act. In the same way you also will see, I will not allow your waiting to be in vain. Every tear you shed will turn into watering for the harvest. Every prayer you lifted will be answered at the right time. Every renunciation you made will be rewarded double. The enemy tried to convince you that nothing would change, but I say that everything has already changed. Even if you do not see it immediately, it is already in motion. Hold firm, child, because you are about to cross the line of the promise. Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due time you will reap if you do not faint. Do not abandon your confidence, for it has great reward. Do not let go of the seed I placed in your hands, for it is sprouting. The time of harvest has come and the fields are ready. I am the Lord who honors those who remain. I am the one who crowns those who resist. I am the God who rewards faithfulness. You will not be put to shame, you will not be left aside, you will not be forgotten. On the contrary, you will be lifted up before many as a sign of my power. The victory that comes to your life will be a testimony for others who are also weary. Therefore, do not give up now. Do not give away your faith precisely when the answer is on the way. Do not let go of my hand when we are about to cross together the door of promise. This is the last minute before the turning. This is the climax of the battle before the celebration. This is the final push before the conquest. I declare over you, you will see with your own eyes the multiplication I have prepared. You will reap what you planted with tears, but you will reap with songs of joy. You will hold in your hands what you once only carried in prayer. And when that happens, you will know that it was not by your strength, but by my faithfulness. My beloved, everything you went through was preparation, not punishment. It was refinement, not rejection. I led you along paths your feet would not have chosen, to place steadiness where there was inconsistency, to give depth where there was only surface. Now I make you understand that your story does not end in the valley. It rises like a banner upon the mountain, so that many may see, learn, and find hope. I declare, what wounded you will not dictate your future. What shaped you will reveal my glory in you. The scars you carry are not signs of failure. They are reminders that you endured when everything insisted on silencing you. They do not diminish you. They give weight to your voice, authority to your counsel, and compassion to your hands. When you extend your hand to those who grow discouraged, your presence will say more than 1,000 speeches, because you will speak from a fire you have already gone through. That is why I raise you as a beacon for weary travelers, as shelter for wounded hearts, as a bridge over troubled waters. What was shame, I transform into honor. I lift your head before those who expected your fall and clothe you with new dignity. Listen, do not defend yourself with anxiety. Do not justify yourself in haste. Your life will be the answer. I myself will place you in places where your faithfulness will be known, and the words that once diminished you will lose their strength, because my hand upon you will be evident. The honor I give is not fragile. It does not depend on applause. It is born of my faithfulness and remains when the winds change. The greatest miracle has already begun within you. I aligned your thoughts, stilled invisible storms, and rekindled the flame that seemed to be going out. The peace I place within you is not just passing relief. It is a constant current that sustains your breathing, orders your vision, and guards your heart when the pressure rises. I also restore the faith that hesitated. It will become firm as rock, broad as the horizon. And the hope that seemed worn returns to blossom, renewed, clear, persevering. Because you are ready, I release over you strength to begin again without fear. Strength to finish what I started. Strength to say yes to the destiny I wrote. I also release provision with purpose, resources sufficient to cover what was lacking and overflow to sow into works of love. Do not accumulate out of fear, manage with wisdom. Do not hold back out of insecurity, share with generosity. I will give you clean strategies, just opportunities, and partnerships aligned with what I planned. Paths that seemed closed will present themselves open before you with clarity of step and timing. I pour healing over memories that still burned and over words that wounded you. They will no longer command you. I touch places you avoided, remove old thorns, and restore lightness to your gaze. The healing I give is not only for you, it will flow through your gestures, making your presence a place of rest. Through you, lives will be gathered, families will be made at peace, hearts will find meaning again. Where there is chaos, your meekness will be a way. Where there is doubt, your steadiness will be an answer. I decree restitution. What was taken from you by deceit, negligence, or malice, I will bring back with increase. Situations that seemed lost will have an outcome of justice. The time others judged wasted will become accelerated harvest. Do not busy yourself avenging your cause. Entrust the backstage to me. Your role is to advance in the mission, to keep your heart clean and your lips truthful. I take care of the accounts, I write the last line, I clarify your purpose. You do not live to prove worth, you live to overflow life. The wealth that comes into your hands is not an end in itself. It is a tool to build, sustain, and propel destinies. Use your resources to open doors for those without a voice, to feed sleeping dreams, to favor the just, and to resist what corrupts. When you serve, you are not diminishing yourself. You are governing as one governs in my kingdom, with a humble heart and generous hands. Thus, your influence will grow without you losing yourself. Do not let yourself be seduced by shortcuts, empty formulas, or rootless promises. What I place in your hands has foundations, has footings, has truth. Walk with honest steps, speak with integrity, decide without shadow. My blessing does not need artifice to remain. It needs integrity to flourish. Therefore I teach you to distinguish shine from light, noise from voice, opportunity from trap. With me, you will learn to say no with peace and yes with courage. I open before you platforms of testimony. Do not fear the microphone, the encounter, the conversation at the table, the message that reaches those you did not expect. I will place the right words at the exact moments. When you tell what I have done, remember, the center will not be you, it will be my love for you. Point to me and I will widen the reach. And as you edify others, I will widen your borders, steady your foundations, and multiply your results. Now, I bless you. Receive vigor in your body, clarity in your mind, and tenderness in your gaze. Receive discipline to build and creativity to solve. Receive covering against intrigue, serenity in decisions, and joy that does not fade with bad news. Receive loyal relationships, prudent counsel, and rest that renews without guilt. Wherever you step, you will leave a trail of peace. Wherever you speak, lies will lose space. Wherever you act, good will take root. Walk because the inheritance is yours. Do not rush and do not delay. Keep pace with my rhythm. Rise at dawn with gratitude and end the day with confidence. Guard what I entrust to you as one cares for a garden. Remove what chokes, water what grows, celebrate every sprout. When you look back, you will see paths that did not exist before. When you look around, you will notice fruit where there was only hard ground. And when you look within, you will recognize my presence sustaining every beat of your heart. I send you with my favor as a seal, with my word as a map, and with my love as a home. You will lack nothing on the path I have traced. Go, my chosen one. Your story now is a living testimony. Your life now is a generous answer. Your future now is a wide land under open sky. Go because I am with you, and everything I have given you will remain.